Welcome to Cooking with the Cardiologist. This is a new type of seminar that I'm starting, and the goal is to really get people to a better place in their healthcare journey. We're going to transform people's lives here tonight, and the goal is to really educate, empower, and enrich the kind of food you eat and achieve a better state of healthcare. The plan is really, I'm going to give a talk and explain what diabetes is, explain about nutrition, how the food you eat can make you sick or make you healthy, and how food is actually medicine. Next, we're going to do an exclusive demonstration of 3 outstanding recipes that will jumpstart your morning, turbocharge your metabolism, and get you to a better place in your healthcare journey. Thank you. We came to this country when I was 2 years old, and I grew up in the South. So I got to experience good old Southern cooking. I lived in Southern Texas. I lived in Atlanta. I've seen it all, and there are ways, even within that kind of soulful food, to cook healthy and cook well. But growing up, I went to school at Emory University, which is in Atlanta. That's where I did my undergraduate. I did my med school in Medical College of Georgia. That's where the master's tournament is in Augusta. I made my way up to D.C. I wanted to be a big city boy, so I came up to D.C. I was at Georgetown. I did my internal medicine residency there, and I did a research year at MedStar Washington Hospital Center in cardiology. And then actually I met my wife there, who happened to be my boss during one of the rotations. And the funny thing is, she was my boss then, and apparently she's still my boss now, so nothing's really changed. I enjoyed my time there, and I specialized in cardiology, and then I had the privilege of returning back here and practicing in Maryland and D.C. area. So I'm here now, but during the time when I actually started attaining my medical degree, 2 serious things happened. One, my uncle, my dad's younger brother, suffered another heart attack in India, and again, he was a diabetic, relatively, supposedly healthy guy, and boom, fell flat on his face and died. And then during my son's first year birthday party, my dad collapsed in the middle of the birthday party. It was in Shirlington, actually, just 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago. He collapsed in the middle, and I mean, you know, I'm a doctor, but I was scared as hell, and you know, we all rushed to him. Eventually, he got worked up, and he had basically, you're born with 3 blood vessels, one on the left atrial descending artery, one on the right corner, and one on the left circumflex. His right corner artery had a 99.9999% blockage. There was nothing we could do. It's completely blocked. That's when I took what I learned, my education, what I've been reading, my passion about nutrition, health, reversal of disease. I took it to the next level because they couldn't put a stent in. They couldn't do bypass. There was nothing more that could be done, supposedly, by the physicians except medical management. What does that mean? I don't know. But what I did was, Dad, we got to be serious now. So he always had a good, you know, big-sized belly, you know, and he loved his food. And we got him on a good, aggressive Mediterranean-style diet, a plant-based diet with a little bit of lean meat and proteins. And now, I mean, he has almost a thinner waistline than me. This is a 67-year-old gentleman, and he works out. He goes to the gym. He looks great, and I expect him to do well now from now on. And again, I've used this to transform my own life. I had problems with weight, cholesterol, diabetes, which I'll tell you guys about, fatigue. I had a borderline blood pressure, and I had heartburn. I was taking Prilosec every day. I thought that was just normal, you know. Again, so with all this, with all these transformations, I want to share all these techniques with you today. So thank you again for coming. Diabetes. Have you guys heard of this word? So it's sort of a new/old term, and it's a combination of 2 of the biggest problems in this country, diabetes and obesity. And unfortunately, 1 out of every 2 of you in this room probably has it. It affects 1.7 billion people, that's with a B, billion people worldwide. 1 out of every 2 Americans. And basically, it starts with something called insulin resistance. Your body becomes numb to the effects of insulin because of the high sugar load that we take in. We don't really take sugar. We don't add sugar, but everything has sugar in it. If you ever heard of something called high fructose corn syrup, that's basically straight sugar. And it's a frankenfood. What does that mean? It's an artificial thing created by these food labs to make things taste better. So raise your hand, and if any of these are positive, keep your hand raised, because I want everyone at the end of the quiz to look around and see how many people have at least one of these things. If you have a family history of diabetes, heart disease, or obesity, raise your hand. Wow. Okay. We're not even there. Hey, keep your hands raised. If you're overweight or if you have a BMI greater than 25, raise your hand. Okay. If you have a waist size as a lady greater than 35 or 40, raise your hand. If you have a sweet tooth or trouble losing weight, raise your hand. If you have a blood glucose of greater than 100 that's fasting, or you have diabetes or pre-diabetes, raise your hand. You can put your hands out. I know you're going to get tired, but at the end, raise all your hands if any of these apply to you. If you have high cholesterol, raise your hand. If your blood pressure is greater than 130 over 80, raise your hand. And if you're inactive, and what does that mean, inactive? That means you have to do at least 30 minutes of activity 4 times a week. And activity doesn't mean to and from the couch. This is talking about going outside for the purpose of quote-unquote exercising or walking. Now, you don't have to, please put your hands down for this next one, because I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. But if you have low sex drive, infertility, erectile dysfunction, you know, that's also a problem. If you want to raise your hand, you can. So these are the indicators of, and by the way, everyone raise their hand if any of these apply to you. Okay, now everyone look around the room here. Turn around, look around the room, see how many hands are raised. Hey. So this is the extent of the problem. And it starts as this insulin resistance. You develop this pre-diabetes. You have a touch of blood pressure, a touch of cholesterol, and then eventually you get full-blown diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke. And so a lot of people say, hey, look, I'm healthy. Even though I'm a big bone person, I'm a big bone girl or a big bone boy, I'm healthy, doc. Here's the problem with that. The trouble with fat, it can affect everything. It can cause strokes. It can cause diabetes. It can cause heart disease. It can cause liver disease, or something called fatty liver, or non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, or NASH, also known as fatty liver. And finally, it can cause cancer. Yes, I said it, obesity in the spectrum of this diabetes can cause cancer. And the 3 cancers that it's linked to, and this is actually new for me too. I learned it a couple of years ago, and I was surprised when I learned it. But colon, prostate, and breast cancer are the 3 cancers linked to excessive obesity and diabetes. And finally, arthritis. How many large people or heavy people do you know are already complaining about their weight in their legs, and then they feel like aches and pains in their knees? It's very common, and you know why, right? You're basically carrying 2 people every day, all the time. Right? If you're like close to 300 pounds and you should be 150, that's 2 separate people you're carrying. Your knees are not meant to do that. So why are you guys here today? I suspect that either you or one of your family members has some kind of chronic illness, such as high blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, heart attacks, strokes, or cancer. And you're looking for some maybe new strategies to incorporate into healthy eating in your own life. But what's interesting, I thought, was there are no 300-pound 70-year-olds that I know of. And there are probably no 300-pound 80-year-olds. So as you get heavier, as you start accumulating problems, it is going to affect your lifespan. And I was reading something very interesting the other day. They're saying our children, this generation of children, will live less than their parents. And that's a scary thing. Because we're not going to talk about childhood obesity here, but that's the realm we're going to enter into right now. Our children are not going to live as long as we are. So what I'm here to propose is not to get rid of all your pills, not to say screw you to all your doctors, but to work with your doctors, but see if there's other things you can enhance or optimize. Hippocrates, a famous Greek philosopher and supposedly the father of Western medicine, said, "Let food be thy medicine." And so that's sort of the theme here today. And I'm going to actually demonstrate some of these later today. And this guy lived at 400 BC. And we're only now figuring this out? Who's this guy? Can someone please say his name out loud, please? Who said that? Come up here. This is a healthy diet calendar. Give her a hand. All right. And what did he die of? Can someone else say what he died of? Who said that first here? All right, come over here. Or pass this back to her. Okay. So this was in Time magazine, I think, a week ago. They call it Dr. Oz. Who knows Dr. Oz here? Everyone knows Dr. Oz, but does nothing what he says. So Dr. Mammoth Oz, again, he was a surgeon and a cardiothoracic specialist, and now he's become a guru for preventive and cardiovascular health, and I applaud him for all his work, and I think we need more people like that. So he made a guest commentary in Time magazine, and this is what he said. He said, why wise guys need to watch their weight and belly fat. And I was just curious, and so I looked into the article, and I found more and more information about it. And this is what it said. It said James, James is his first name, right? James Gandolfini. Obviously, I'm not Italian. So James Gandolfini was 6 feet. He weighed 300 pounds at his prime, if you want to call it prime, and BMI of 59. The BMI I calculated, I have a little app on my phone, how to calculate BMI, just your height and your weight ratio, and boom. So for another calendar here, who can tell me what is the normal BMI? What's the number? Very nice. 25. Very good. Here you go. Give her a hand. Okay. So James Gandolfini was 59. Can you imagine that? 59. And I mean, we were like, he was an amazing actor, but he was cut short in his prime, literally. I mean, he made that show work. Without him, that show would not have worked. So he was eating a typical Italian diet. I mean, that pizza there is no exaggeration. He could have probably consumed that whole pizza. And he died in Rome in some cafe somewhere. He fell flat on his face at age 51. So this is a problem with diabetes. Again, he probably had a touch of this, touch of that, but nothing overwhelming, nothing that he was so worried about. And then boom, he dies. So what am I advocating here? Well, I'm not necessarily saying a plant-based diet is ideal, but it's one of the solutions, and I'll give you a compelling reason why. Who's this guy? Okay. Give her a hand here. Bill Clinton. So Bill Clinton in 2004 suffered a massive heart attack. Did you guys know that? And he had something called quadruple bypass surgery. Just as a side note, what does it mean when people brag about, oh, I had single, I had double, oh, yeah, I had quadruple? People actually brag about how many vessels they have. So just as a side, as a little explanation point, bypass surgery is really where you have blood vessels that originate from the top part of the heart and they go to the bottom. And if you have cholesterol accumulation, inflammation, and occlusion or narrowing, then you have a considered blockage. Now, if that happens overnight or suddenly, that's called a heart attack. If it happens slowly over time, that's called chronic angina that just gets worse. And he basically had it suddenly overnight where it was relatively small and then boom, it became almost occluded. And because he had so many vessels that were blocked, 1, 2, 3, and then for one there was two blockages in one, they had to do a double bypass on that and then 2 on the other vessels, so a total of 4 vessels. Basically, let me put it another way. You want to get on Old Branch Avenue, but there's an accident there. So you take maybe Oxon Hill Road and you come around. That's what a bypass is. You cut a segment of your vein and you sew it onto your heart and bypass the blockage. So not much fun, right? And who here knows anyone who's had a bypass? At least 30-40% of the room. So Bill Clinton in 2004 weighed 205 pounds and he had the McDonald's diet. You know the diet where you run to McDonald's and from McDonald's? So he had fat, he had a heart attack, and he had a bypass. And what did he do? In 2011, actually, 2013, this is where this picture is where he thinks he's so cool. But in 2011, he developed something called a plant-based or almost a vegan-esque diet, where he let go of almost all cholesterol forms, and he completely cleaned out his life. He started exercising the right way. He started eating the right foods, and he weighs 185 pounds now, and he's been pretty consistent there. He used to be the yo-yo diet, though, which we all know about. So here's what I want to show you. This should be something unique that you probably have not heard of until today, and if you have, then that's great. This is called reversal of coronary heart disease. No, I'm not talking about treatment. No, I'm not talking about stents. I'm not talking about bypass. I'm talking about shrinking blockages that you already have with nutrition, health, supplements, and exercise. This is something that people used to poo-poo. Oh, yeah, just run around the block. Yeah, you'll lose a lot of weight. You'll be healthy. No, this is like scientifically proven. There's a gentleman named Caldwell Esselstyn. He's a surgeon at Cleveland Clinic, one of the premier medical institutes in this country. He's a cardiothoracic surgeon. His whole income was bent on him doing bypasses day in and day out. He got sick and tired of seeing people being sick and tired. He decided to do something about it, and he investigated what other ways can we do it. And he learned about this plant-based diet, and he adopted it, and he actually did a scientific study. This is an angiogram. An angiogram, again, is a picture of contrast or dye that shows what the blood vessel looks like. Okay, it's sort of a moving X-ray. So I got a laser pointer in my pocket. Hold on here. Boom. So this is the left antrodescending artery. This is the artery that you got based diet without medications. Look what happened here. So I mean, there are evidence. This is becoming a more and more a recognized movement. Again, you can heal thyself with medicine. Let food be thy medicine is sort of one of the mottos I'm going to say today. I'm not saying get rid of everything else, but add this as part of your regimen so you'll be well-rounded. So this is Bill Clinton's doctor, Dr. Mark Hyman. Great book, The Blood Sugar Solution. I recommend you read it. But he's one of the proponents of this diabesity phenomenon I was telling you about. And the key really is to lose belly fat, prevent heart disease, increase your energy, and turn off negative genes. And that's another thing. You can actually turn genes on and off. Yes, I was born with bad genes. My father has heart disease. My uncle died of a heart attack. My grandfather died of a heart attack. Does that mean I'm going to die of a heart attack? No, because I've decided that, yes, I may have inherited the genes, but it's up to me to decide to turn those genes on or off. And I've decided to turn them off. Unfortunately, a lot of people decide, yeah, I'm just doomed. This is my healthcare destiny, my healthcare fate. So I'm just going to live how my parents lived and just hope for the best. That doesn't usually turn out very well. So here's the solution part. Okay, that was all just sort of the background, just a setup. This is the solution. Let's get started today. How to reclaim your innate vitality. Our sedentary nation needs to move. I recommend starting small, like a pedometer and walking just 20 minutes a day, even 10 minutes. Hell, 5 minutes is fine. Just walk. Goal is daily walking, and eventually you've heard of this 10,000 steps a day initiative. It's across the country. A lot of the national health services and NIH and a lot of the big research foundations are promoting this. But inactive people, AKA couch potatoes, AKA PG County resident, 1,000 to 3,000 steps a day. Okay? Now, people say, oh, man, I don't want to go to Walmart, get a pedometer. Fine, I made it easy for you. You can download. All you guys have this fancy phones now. I know it. Don't hide it from me. I see it in your pockets. Okay? You take your phone out and you download this free app called Runtastic, or there's another one called, it's from Beth Israel, which is Harvard, BIDMC Walking Club. And basically it turns your smartphone into a pedometer. It's a free app. We need to next take fatness to fitness. We need to build more muscle. People think muscle is just for young kids who just want to look good. No, muscle is essential for a healthy living, to prevent disease, to prevent injury. I mean, now we're at the stage where, oh, I dropped my pen, let me bend over and get it. Oh man, I pulled out my back. Oh, I need to go to back surgery now. I mean, we're so frail now. We're not moving. Our ancestors, I mean, whether you're from India where we used to run around and chase, cows or peacocks or whatever, or you're from Africa, you used to chase, animals, you're from Europe, wherever you were, our ancestors were a lot stronger than we are. We've become weak because we don't exercise consistently. Exercise is sort of like a get-to. It's not a must. So what do I say is this? 1 pound of muscle, if you add just 1 pound of muscle a day, you burn 50 calories the whole day. So when you run on a treadmill, you just burn calories right then and there. That's called like instantaneous energy expenditure. But when you work out in the morning, you're burning calories the whole day. That's called afterburn. So let's say you just added 6 pounds of muscle. And then ladies, you always worry about bulking up. Trust me. Trust me on this. You will not bulk up. You'll just lean up, which is what you need. So if you just add 6 pounds of muscle, you'll burn 300 calories the whole day. That's amazing. So what I advocate is this: 3 core principles of fitness: cardiovascular fitness, flexibility training, and strength training. The strength training I sort of mentioned about the muscles. Cardiovascular, again, gets your heart rate up. You sweat and you release toxins from your system. And then flexibility, that's it prevents injury, improves your tendons, and prevents osteoporosis. Again, so many, and then mental stress. It de-stresses you when you do flexibility training like yoga, Pilates, martial arts, senior stretching programs. So a lot of people get excited when they hear different things. Oh, that Dr. Raya, okay, let me try his diet. It's not a diet. It's a lifestyle we're going to ask you to do. I don't care who you go with. Choose someone or choose a lot of people. I don't care. But embrace it and make this your lifestyle. Don't make it the July 2013 diet, and let's see what happens in August and September. I'm not going to sell. These are not blenders I'm here to pitch and sell for you. I'm going to show you how to do things where you incorporate this in your life. What I recommend is what I think is the most realistic thing for you guys to adopt. It's called the Mediterranean diet. You've heard of it. I'm going to really put down the bolts and nuts and tell you exactly what it is today. So this is a beautiful picture of Santorini. If you've ever been, it's nice. You should go. But these people, why is this so popular? They've done so many research studies, and this is from like New England Journal of Medicine. These are from like top journals all across the country. This is the type of diet that promotes healthy heart living, prevents stroke, decreases blood pressure, and decreases diabetes. And that's why it's so popular. And the thing is, it's so realistic to adopt. That's why it's also become very popular. So it's a very realistic plan. It's what I recommend for most people. Again, this is the actual New England Journal article. Again, this is not like hypothetical. This is not like, oh, a new diet book. This is research on 20,000 people all over Europe who went on a quote-unquote low-fat diet and then who did this Mediterranean diet. And over 5 years, they'd found significant amount of reduction in heart disease, stroke, blood pressure issues, diabetes in the people who did the Mediterranean diet. And you can see it here. You can see the difference here. This is the Mediterranean diet, and this is a regular diet here. The control diet was a low-fat diet, just a simple low-fat diet. So you can see how powerful this is. And this is really what I want you to focus on as today. What is this quote-unquote Mediterranean diet? People sort of throw it out there. What is it? Let me define it for you clearly. They defined it in the study. It is olive oil, and this is, I recommend extra virgin olive oil, the best that you can afford, 4 tablespoons a day. And you can use it in your cooking. You don't have to just put it on a shot glass and take it in. Tree nuts and peanuts, any kind of nuts. Nuts reduce your cravings. It promotes healthy digestion, reduces your weight. Fresh fruits, 3 servings a day. Vegetables, 2 servings a day. Fish, 3 servings a week, especially the fatty fish. Legumes, which are beans. Sofrito, since this is a European study, those Europeans, they have fancy names for everything. So sofrito is just homemade sauce or homemade pasta sauce. Instead of going to get your ragu or prego, why don't you just take a little mini blender and put a couple of tomatoes in there, a little bit of sauce, a little bit of seasoning, boom, you have your own sauce, pasta sauce. That's what sofrito is. White meat, what I mean by that is specifically chicken and fish. And then on occasion, wine. That doesn't mean a bottle of wine with dinner. That means a glass of wine. And what are the things you want to avoid? You want to avoid soda drinks. You want to avoid commercial bakery goods, sweets, pastries. The kind of things you can spread. If it's like has a lot of fat content, you want to try to avoid it. Red and processed meats, less than 1 serving a day. Ideally, probably a couple of times a month would be ideal versus, weekly. So again, this is sort of what I was saying. High consumption of monounsaturated fatty acids, olives, olive oil. This is what you need to do daily. This is what you need to do weekly, and this is what you need to do monthly. Again, eat more fiber. If you're not having at least 1 bowel movement a day, you're probably not taking enough fiber in. People usually have bowel movement a couple of times a week. I mean, that's not good. You're going to be constipated, and you're probably going to be cranky. So eat more fiber. Eat more fat. Fat is not bad for you. It's the type of fat. So when you look on an ingredient box, there are a couple, people get confused. They see the saturated fat, the trans fat, then there's sometimes it's listed as poly or mono, and sometimes they're not listed. As long as you're not taking in trans fat or saturated fat, but there's still fat there, it's most likely the mono and the poly, and those are the healthy fats. So that's fine. That's why even though people say don't eat avocados, you should, because they actually have the healthy fats, so you're fine. Again, the healthy fats are the omega-3s, like nuts, flaxseed, seafood. Omega-6s are in corn, grains, sesame oils, and the monounsaturated. Eat more protein. You can eat plant-based protein through legumes, soy, tofu, or you can eat meats like fish or chicken, even nuts. Eat more frequently. So a lot of people here probably eat only once, maybe twice a day, and they're like, Doc, why am I not losing weight? When you eat less food, the message you're telling your body is this. If you eat less food, you're saying, hold on to all that fat you got around your midsection, because we don't know when the next food she's going to give us. So you're basically telling your body, we're in possible starvation mode, hibernation mode. I'm a big bear, and winter's coming, so hold on to that fat, because we don't know when the next meal's coming. You can ask my wife. I eat more food now than when I was a couple of pant sizes larger. I mean, I'm hungry all the time because I've been able to turn my metabolism on. My breakfast is larger than my dinner, actually. And so what I recommend is a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then a couple of snacks in between. And I'm not saying like big proportions, small proportions, so you're not going to feel bloated and heavy. And your metabolism follows a circadian rhythm. What does that mean? That means the sun, the weather, the sunlight, all that determines your sort of your mood, your energy levels, your cortisol levels. So as the sun rises and as it's getting close to this peak, your metabolism should be at its peak. And as night falls and as you slowly come down, you reduce your amount of food you take in. So sleep more. We are in chronic sleep deprivation mode. A lot of you guys sleep 5 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, rarely 7 or 8 hours. It may be tough to do, but if you can get quality sleep, at least 7 hours, 6.5 to 7 hours, you reduce a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone, and it makes you store fat because it's released during dangerous times when the scarcity is there. But in this modern day and age, we're overstressed and undernourished. And so what I recommend is trying to sleep a little bit more. Have portion control. Okay? Everything in moderation, right? So the ideal plate is 50% of your plate should be vegetables, a little bit of protein, and a little bit of healthy starches like sweet potatoes versus white potatoes, yams, that kind of thing. And this is like, a typical Golden Corral diet right here. We are dehydrated most of the time. If you're cranky, if you're hungry, many times it's because you're dehydrated. Now, this does not apply to you if you have congestive heart failure, if you have liver cirrhosis, if you have nephrotic syndrome, or any kind of disease state where you're retaining a lot of fluid, and your doctors put you on something called Lasix, which is a water pill. This is for people who don't have that. This is for most other people. I recommend at least 3 to 4 liters of water a day. Okay? Most people say half your body weight in ounces. And say no to things like sodas, ginger ale, iced tea. Now, iced tea, if you take your own tea bag and put it in a little cup and add some lemons and and drink it, that's fine. I'm talking about the Lipton pre-processed sugar-loaded iced tea. If you want to make your own green tea, that's fine too. And also Red Bull, 5-Hour Energy, all this stuff is artificial and it has extra things in there that you don't need. Before I end here, let's know our numbers. Okay, before I get started, we already talked about body mass index. Okay, what is a normal blood pressure? Who said that? All right. What is it again, sir?
120/80.
Excellent. So it's actually 130/80 is upper normal. It's not considered quote unquote normal. 120/80 is considered normal. Let's go to the next one. LDL. Oh, sorry. What's a good LDL? Okay, very good. Say it again loud.
Under 200.
No. What'd you say? LDL. LDL. Give it to me. There you go, sir. 100.
No, I thought you said cholesterol.
Okay. That's okay. I like you. There you go. All right. What about HDL?
Under 40.
Very good. And blood sugar should be less than 100. Okay? So here's what I'm concerned about here. You're going to say, Doc, all that's great and nice. You know, that's very interesting, but here's the but. How much time is this going to take me? Is this going to create so much effort for me? Here's my response. You must make time for health, or you will make time for disease. Here's the next objection. You're being too strict, Doc. I can't have my fun. You're like, what's the point of life if you're doing all this? We all got to die someday of something. Here's my response to that. Hey, I'm not being a Hitler here. I'm not being Nazi. I'm trying to be realistic. Here, I understand we're in a modern day and age. We're not on some kind of farm somewhere. We have processed food. Hey, I understand. So this is what I recommend, the 80-20 rule. And there's two versions of the 80-20 rule. The first version is 80-20. So you zig most of the time in being very healthy, and occasionally you zag. You can have your ice cream, occasionally your chocolate. Try to be dark chocolate, 70% cocoa, 80% cocoa. You know, but if you're like healthy Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday, you know, if you need to cheat, you need to cheat. But here's what I suggest. After you feel so good, Monday through Friday, you will not want to cheat eventually. But at the beginning, so be it. You know, try to balance it so you don't feel so restricted, because the people who are so restricted, they're going to get off this diet or get off this lifestyle and they'll go back to their old ways. So try to balance yourself. The other thing is, hari hachi bu. I know what you're going to say. God bless you. No. So Okinawans, which are the longest living people in the world, they live in Japan, they say hari hachi bu. What does that mean? That means eat till you're 80% full. So when you're eating, don't try to kill that plate. Try to eat until you're sort of satisfied and then stop. So those are the two 80-20 rules that I have for you. And now for the fun part, the cooking demo, okay? So this is a corny joke. Let your kitchen be your, right. So now let's get a hand together for the cooking demonstration. All right. So just before I get started with the cooking demonstration, let me tell you what we're gonna make today. Are you guys excited?
Yes.
Okay. So did you learn anything useful today?
Yes.
Okay, good. What is the breakfast of champions? What does people usually say is the breakfast of champions? Exactly, right? But I'm going to challenge you. I think we're going to have a better breakfast of champions. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but we want you to turbocharge your metabolism. I want to fuel your nutrition. I want to help you lose and maintain weight, and I want it to taste good. So I'm going to introduce you 3 of my favorite recipes, one of which I use all the time. The other 2 I've sort of developed. We also have the organic buckwheat pancake and waffle mix, which is more for the pancake and waffles. Again, very little preparation. You almost make it just like a Aunt Jemima pancake mix, but 10 times more healthy. Okay, both of these can be purchased at, I was surprised, but you can get them at Giant's, you can get them at Shoppers, a lot of the different regular grocery stores. You don't have to go to one of those fancy grocery stores, Whole Foods or anything like that. You can get them at the regular grocery stores. And yes, please, the talk part of the presentation is over. Please throw out questions. Come up here if you want to take a closer look. This is very informal. Just ask away. Yeah, so this is gluten-free. So, hallelujah. Gluten-free, right? So, again, gluten and dairy are sort of two of our, the usual suspects. They've been causing a lot of problems in people, and we don't even know it half the time. A lot of us have innate intolerances or allergies to these substances, and so I chose things. Today there's going to be no dairy, because I'm going to use soy milk actually, and then no gluten, just to demonstrate what can be done off of these substances. But look, I eat, I don't really do too much dairy. I do occasional cheeses, but I don't, and gluten, I have wheat, whole wheat stuff, but there are ways to be healthy without those things as well. So the question, that's a great question. If anyone didn't hear it, I'll repeat it for you. So she asked about almond milk versus soy milk, and here are my thoughts on that. Almond milk is a very good milk. My only concern about almond milk is there's not that much protein, and so you may, you don't get that like in regular milk. You get vitamin D, protein, and things. You get that in soy milk too, but you don't get that in almond milk. But otherwise, it's a great milk. There's a lot of protective benefits of it, and it goes with anything. And then if you're dairy intolerant or have other issues, that's a great alternative. And it tastes really good too. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and pour the. Okay. Yeah, this is the soy milk that I use. It's called Silk, and it's a light soy milk. And the calorie content here is great. I mean, it has 6 grams of protein, has a gram of fiber, doesn't have much sugar, and it has the good fats, the poly and the mono. So it's a great thing. And there's different versions of it. There's chocolate, vanilla, different versions of it. So let me show you there it is. Please, go ahead. Yeah, protein powder is great. It's a great supplement. Remember I said to eat 3 meals and 2 snacks? So protein powder, it can be one of your snacks, or it can be like a meal replacement. So you can make, again, in one of these blenders, you don't have to have a fancy blender like this. You can have like a routine blender, but put in like a scoop of protein powder, maybe throw in a banana, and then throw in 1 scoop of chocolate, vanilla, whatever flavor you like, protein powder, boom. Blend it, and you got a great tasting snack. And you can even add other things. You can put cinnamon in there. You can put in, what else would I put in mine? Flaxseed powder. All these things, it tastes amazing. And you feel great when you feel like you don't feel heavy. You've got your protein, and you're ready to go. Boom. So let me go ahead and start the buckwheat crepe thing. Let's see here. So I'm going to pour the. So this is the soy milk. Then we're going to do the 4 eggs. Okay. Here, bear with me here. I'm going to show you, without making a mess, how to separate the egg yellows from the egg whites. All right. Okay. Do we have a paper towel or napkin? Okay, great. All right. All right, so as you can see, oh, maybe you can't see. Maybe move the camera this way. Excellent question. Please give her a hand for that. That's a great question. Are all eggs the same? There are variations in eggs because it's where eggs come from. And are all chickens fed the same thing? Some chickens are fed themselves, actually. So ground up, all sorts of stuff. So I recommend organic, brown, omega-3 enriched eggs because there's a cholesterol profile difference that I've learned recently. I've looked at the nutritional analysis between eggs, and there is a significant difference between supermarket regular cheap eggs and then sort of the brown, omega-3, cage-free, organic fed eggs. The amount of cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, is a lot higher in the routine supermarket eggs. So what I did was I cracked the egg, and I poured only the egg white inside. And I'm going to go back and forth like this and sort of see if I can get some more of the egg white, and the egg yolk is retained. What I do is, again, the 80-20 rule. Most times I do egg whites because it has a lot of the benefits and much less of the cholesterol. There is good cholesterol, but there is a little touch of the bad cholesterol too with the egg yolks. So especially if you're in the weight loss strategy mode or you're trying to control some of your cholesterol issues, then limit it to like maybe once or twice a week, the egg yellows, but egg whites, no problem. Again, I don't want to be too strict to where you lose all the fun of life, right? But we want it to be realistic and we want to move forward every day. We don't want to do 2 steps forward, one step back either. I think using fresh eggs is better than the egg beater because I just don't know how they process all that. So, but again, if you had to choose, something is better than nothing. So if that's easier for you to do it, then do that. Look, there are ways to be healthy and still be economical. There are ways. I have I'll try to have another, if you have your email set up outside and everyone signs up, make sure you sign up if you came in late because I'll send you something. I have a healthy foods under $1. I have a whole like 2-page list of like things where how to make healthy things under $1. So again, there are ways to be healthy and economical. I am throwing them away. I am throwing them away, yeah. I guess another thing is the lady mentioned that you can buy just egg whites only. So that may be a way to do it where if you feel guilty or if you feel uncomfortable about that, the egg whites by itself could work. Okay, but let me keep moving and then we'll get some more questions. So where am I now? So I've done the 2 eggs. So let me see here. What am I doing? 4 eggs? Okay. So how many eggs? No, just yeah. So then we just do 4. Oh, maybe do the 3 eggs. We'll do. Okay. Oh, you didn't see that. See, that'll make I'll make my friend in the front row happy there. All right. Ideally, egg whites, but we won't tell anyone. There's so many, good-looking people in the crowd. I got distracted. I'm sorry. All right. Oops. Okay. We'll take more napkins. That's good. All right. So now we put 4 eggs with 1 egg yellow. And what we're going to do is we're going to whisk it. So whisking means just stirring with this fancy instrument here. All right. Yeah, I'll go there. All right, so we've combined the eggs now with the milk. And finally, we're going to next add the flour. I'm going to whisk it very well so it's all homogeneous, very smooth texture. And the reason why I chose crepes is because it's something different than the typical pancakes that we all like to make. So I'm going to put this is the buckwheat flour. All right, let's combine all the ingredients without making too much of a mess. And I had to sign a release waiver saying I would not burn down Colony South Hotel. A little more. I'll do a little more flour. Should I do more flour? Okay. Let's see here. Yeah. I'll show you guys sort of the consistency here. Okay, I think that is very smooth texture. Okay. Now this is my favorite part, pure honey clover honey. Now you can use any type of organic honey. And the reason why I like honey is it boosts energy, it boosts your immune system. For example, for kids, they say that after a certain age, you can use honey for their coughs. You're not supposed to use all the fancy cough drops that we adults use. And also there's natural amino acids in here compared to like the typical maple syrup that we have. The other thing about like the Aunt Jemima syrups and the regular routine syrups that we use, there is high fructose corn syrup. Remember that the bad word we're not supposed to use, the bad ingredient we're not supposed to use? High fructose corn syrup. So this is a good way where you get to enjoy your life, you get to enjoy the taste, and it tastes good, and it's very healthy for you. And this has been used for thousands of years, honey. Okay. You can use raw honey as long as you know the source and you trust that, that it hasn't been, sometimes they're supposed to pasteurize it, but if it hasn't been pasteurized, if you trust the source, then you can use raw honey. Or if you have a honeycomb in your backyard, go for it. And I know the recipe called for 2, but I'm gonna put 3 in there. Oh, oops. Okay. And oh, by the way, MedStar Health as well as Capital Cardiology, we provided recipe cards for you guys upon when you get out of here. So you'll have my business card, and there it is. So all the recipes are on there. Oh, so you're double checking me when I'm doing this. Okay. So now this is starting to smell and look very good. We've got all the ingredients in there. Now just a pinch of either sea salt or some kind of kosher salt is fine. You can use even regular table salt. Let me use regular more. Use this salt. I'll just use on my. Just a pinch there. Okay. Yes. So there are a lot of, you can enhance with spices. There's garlic. There's all sorts of things, peppercorn, different things like that. So obviously, if you have high blood pressure, it's recommended not to add additional salt. If you have any kind of congestive heart failure, any kind of salt will make it retain fluid, any of the other things. What is that there you have?
My doctor said don't use because it has sodium chloride.
Oh, okay.
Which interferes with my medication.
Yeah. Yeah, it has a lot of potassium in it too, so you have to just be careful. I would check your blood chemistries more often, especially if you're taking this. But I think I know there's something called garlic and some kind of other salt substitutes that people seem to use and they enjoy. But basically, spicing up your foods with other things can really make a difference. Okay, so a little bit of olive oil we'll put on the, yeah. So where's my spatula? So this is extra virgin, 100% Italian olive oil. I can move the camera this way. And I'm going to just spread it over this area here, just to create a nice lubricant base. Maybe just a touch more for good luck. Okay. I used to use Pam myself, but I started reading it. I couldn't pronounce half the ingredients on there, and that's already a red flag for me. So I started moving back toward the olive oils and stuff, and so I recommend that. I think just go for the real deal, because if they have to make it a spray, they have to put all sorts of things into it to make it spray out. And so, all right. So I think we can try making our first crepe. What do you guys think? Yeah. All right. You guys sound hungry. Okay, let's try one. Hope it doesn't roll. Stay. Okay, well, due to the angle, it's rolling, but we'll let this one go, and we'll see how that goes. And let me tell you some of the interesting things while this is cooking here. So we talked about the organic brown eggs, which have omega-3 fatty acids and good cholesterol. We talked about the soy milk, which has protein, vitamin D, and if you have lactose intolerance, it's such a good thing. I talked about the honey, which has energy and immune boosting capabilities and has natural amino acids. And you can put different things on top of this. So now, wow, that was quick. Nick, this is a powerful instrument you have here. So already we're getting some, yeah, it's starting to bubble here. So I think we're almost there. It's very thin, so that's why I like crepes. And you can stuff this with, you can make it sweet or savory. That's why I like this. You can put vegetables and other things and meats and stuff inside it, or you can make it fruity. You can put a lot of nuts and fruits and honey and make it sweet thing too. So it can go either way. All right, let's do this. Oh wow, look at that, guys. You can come up here and look if you guys want. Yeah. All right. So that looks nice. So here's some optional enhancements. How do you turn this thing on? Okay. There's something called cardamom. Who knows what cardamom is? Yeah, it's unique to this part of the world, but it's an ancient Indian spice, but now it's starting to be prevalent everywhere else. And what it's used for, it helps in aiding digestion. A lot of people chew on cardamom after they eat, and it just helps improve it makes them less gassy, improves their digestion and their nutritional status. And also, it helps freshen your breath. It's oral hygiene, too. Other people like to sprinkle cinnamon. Now, cinnamon is an anti-inflammatory. It helps regulate blood sugar. It prevents clots, and it's antimicrobial. And finally, one of my favorites is organic peanut butter or almond butter. The great thing about that is it's a great protein source. It keeps you full longer, and there's so many rich antioxidants as well as omega-3s and omega-6s. Another favorite one is pecans. So again, a good source of protein and overall a good source of health. So these are the things you can do to spice up your crepes. Okay? All right, so okay. So should I cut it in half? Okay, we need 2 volunteers from the back. Back row there, you guys have been quiet. 2 volunteers, who wants to be brave? All right, lady in yellow. All right. All right. Oh. Yeah. It's okay. If it's pure maple syrup, it's better than the store-bought, but then you have to look at the side and see what, Yeah, exactly. All right. All right, we have a reaction for the camera here? How's it taste? You surprised that it's relatively healthy? Okay. I got to stand out back later. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one, guys. So can I have an assistant to help remove this, and then we'll go to the...
My name is Sharon. I really enjoyed this seminar. I had a wonderful time. The doctor was right on. The way he presented himself, the information that he gathered, he had everybody all excited, and he was just right on. And the cooking session was outstanding. We got to sample everything and ask questions, and he took the time to answer all of our questions, and his beautiful wife also assisted, and it was so nice. It was just a different seminar. I've never been to a seminar like this before, and I just hope he continue to do it and do some more. I hope this is not his last seminar. And like I said, I learned a lot, and it was well educated. I got a lot of information, and he was right on. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ethel. I'm a patient of Dr. Reyes. I attended the cooking seminar today, and it was quite enjoyable. I learned some helpful and helpful tips that I intend to use. Actually, I'm going to use one of the tips and cook one of the meals that he told us about today. I hope that we have more seminars like this. It was very educational. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Robert, and I came to Dr. Raya's seminar today. And I'm also a patient of his. But what I thought was so wonderful is that he talked about all the benefits of all the benefits of the program that he has going. And then also he talked and demonstrated some of the things that he does in cooking and what he does to eat. And I thought that was very beneficial. And he says he's not a chef or anything like that, but he did a demonstration as to what he does in his everyday life. I think that's so important. And I thought it was very beneficial, very educational. He talked about the benefits of each one of the ingredients that he put into the meals, and they also talked about the benefits of what it is we need to do health-wise for our heart, stop diabetes, and all the other things that he was talking about. And I enjoyed the program, and I hope he has another one, because if he has another one, if it's here locally, I'll be here too. If I'm not here, you need to come as well. That's all I have to say. Thank you.